Welcome to Paley Front Row, part of the Paley at Home series presented by Citi.
Women have to overcome more obstacles to reach the top. It's made them fiercely determined and more innovative. Just because they can navigate the obstacles doesn't mean they should have to. Citi is committed to investing in opportunities for 10 million women globally by 2025.
I have the great pleasure of introducing today's panel, and we are so lucky to be surrounded by both the cast and crew. So we're going to start off with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. She's the director. And then it's my honor to introduce Sana Amanat, and she's the executive producer. And next, please put your hands together for Zenovia Shroff. She plays Kamala's mom, Muniba Khan. And of course, without further ado, the star herself, Iman Vellani. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here and for taking in this moment with us. I know I've asked you all behind stage, have you taken in the moment, or is it just all happening? Quick answers if you don't mind.
I'm like being run by a remote control right now, fully on autopilot. Yeah.
Still processing. Yeah, you're doing it, but I think it'll hit a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah, very surreal.
Yeah.
We're in the Paley Center for a comic book show.
I think it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Taking in the moment is always the best way to start something like this, so I'm glad we all had a chance to do that. So I'm going to dive in to questions, and I have two questions for each of you, and I'm hoping to get to them at good time because we'd like to take at least a couple of questions from the audience. So Iman, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you. You probably may know this already, I'm not sure, but if you don't, you're making dreams come true for all of us. So, as someone who immigrated to the country at the age of 5 without any words of English under my belt, to just see you take on this hyphenated identity on the show feels so surreal. I'm wondering if you can talk about how much of Kamala's hyphenated identity you can relate to, growing up as Pakistani in Canada as a teenager with a lot more representation than I saw. What has Kamala's identity mixed with yours meant for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I picked up those comics the first time, it was like they were written about me, for me, and only me. Like, that's how deeply I related to it, and it's really beautiful that like the show can, do for other people what the comics did for me. I always felt very isolated in my own little way. Like, as close as I ever get to my school friends, they're never fully gonna understand what I go through, and I'm never gonna fully understand what they go through. And if I go to Pakistan, I'm not gonna be fully considered Pakistani. If I go to Canada, I'm not really Canadian. So it's just this always awkward in between, and it's weird. And I think our entire show is kind of subverting expectations and labels that are being thrown at Kamala, and just and she's like allowed to be an amalgamation of 100 different things combined, and that together makes Kamala. So we just wanted her to exist and be an individual and not just be identified as only Muslim or only Pakistani or only a superhero fanfic writing nerd. Like there's a lot. Yeah.
It's pretty epic because you can see that hyphenated identity in almost like within the first 5 seconds of watching it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was a beautiful moment for you to witness. Can you talk to us about any of the big moments you had on set? Maybe you can call out 2 of them where you felt like, okay, this is a big deal. I am a big deal.
AvengerCon, yeah, episode 1 was big. AvengerCon was like, it was like what my dreams look like, man. It was crazy. That entire week we were on that set was just like, sun and nose. I was very distracted.
It was, I mean, day 1, I would say, when you rolled up on set and you wore a the Captain Marvel costume, I thought that was your ultimate nerd moment, right?
However, the Captain Marvel costume, the helmet underneath it, it's like a bald cap. I didn't have the helmet part on, so I went around the entire set in a bald cap. I look like an absolute dork. But it's fun. I was like looking at all the Easter eggs. Our production designers did just the most incredible job in making this real in this like tiny Jersey City convention. And I've never been to a convention, even in Toronto, so this was like my first time. And I'm very glad that this was the first experience.
Is there a moment that you can call out with maybe family or friends where you were like, this is happening, or like you had to break the news to them? I'd love to like know what that felt like.
So my best friends didn't know I had auditioned and I got the part in front of them, so they were very confused. And because we were like planning to get burritos, it was the last day of high school, and then I get a call from Sarah Finn. She's like, hey, can you jump on this call real quick? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, I sent you the link, winky face, get on. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, my friend said, I need to take a caller. And then I open my phone and it's just like, Kevin Feige jump scare. And so that was crazy. And I was like, I told myself, whatever happens, I'm not gonna have a reaction because I don't want to have this happen in front of my friends. That did not work out. I was hyperventilating and roaming around my friend's driveway for like 5 minutes, and then I get back in the car, they're like, so what happened? Did you like win the lottery? And I was like, basically, we still got burritos. So good day. Yeah, that was just seeing their faces light up. They're like, I was like, yeah, I got cast in Miss Marvel. They're like, what character? And I'm like, the title one. Yeah, we were screaming a lot. It was great.
Oh my gosh, I wish I was a fly for that moment. So I know you're probably still working through this, but can you please give us a step-by-step process on what becoming a superhero entails? I'm kidding.
You can't go to the bathroom.
That's
no
a good
liquids.
starting point.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to prepare to become Kamala? I'd love to know that thought process of what you felt like when you became one with Kamala, because I'm sure there was a click.
I felt that when I read the comics. The weird part for me was like this was my first acting job, and I don't really know how to act in front of a camera. I come from like high school theater, so it doesn't really compare. But yeah, it was a lot of it was just like Sarah Finn and Sana and all these guys saying like, okay, we cast Iman Vellani, just be yourself, like read the lines as you would read them because you're Kamala. And I'm like, okay, I'm 17, I have no idea who I am, so that's great. Be myself, be myself, be myself. So a lot of it was just kind of like trusting my instincts,
Yeah.
and I had like the most wonderful support system of people, and you know everyone on our show just really helped me. They were very cognizant of the fact that this was my first thing, and I'm new, and you're not going to throw technical jargon at me that I don't understand. And so I think just because I had that, it was very easy for me to kind of slip into Kamala's shoes. And then on top of that, we just incorporated a lot of my real life into Kamala. Like the animation at the beginning was like.
Well, Iman makes her own, can I say that?
Yeah,
makes her own
they're
videos.
floating around somewhere on the internet.
And we were figuring out how to introduce her world, and Iman would just keep sending us these crazy videos. And we're like, well, because in the comics she does fan fiction, but it made sense for us to do video, and she...
Yeah, I like made a stop motion of Kamala and Iron Man action figures, like
It's
dancing.
so good.
It's so bad.
Okay.
But I sent it to Kevin as a joke. And then he's like, oh, write that down. We're not going to put it.
Yeah.
So that made it easy.
That's
I was
so
like,
cool.
okay, I'm just playing myself in front of a camera.
There was a chance when we were out of budget where I'm like, maybe we just do that.
We were really talking. I'm like, I'll record it tonight. I can do this. Like, don't worry, I'll storyboard everything.
That's so funny.
Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to know you, even in the virtual interview that we did and here, I mean, you can just tell, and I'm sure the audience can now too, that you are Kamala. So it's such a beautiful moment. So on that note, let's talk to your mom. So Zenovia, you truly make me miss my teenage years. Gosh, I wish I was a little nicer and a little calmer with my mom, don't we all?
I also miss my teenage years.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, but you're not allowed to say that. But take it all in. I honestly, you were such a good teenager compared to me. But so, you know, I'd love the part where, and I'm not giving a spoiler away, where you know, you show the Barak Hulk and the Choti Hulk costume. It's one of my most favorite parts of the first episode. I want to know how much of your motherhood came into the show, and I'm sure a lot of it was instinctual, but if you could speak to that.
Well, I'm not a mother myself, but I have mothered a lot of children, and I have mentored a lot of children, and so, these people just heard last night, she's my 14th South Asian child.
It's amazing.
There's a joke there somewhere, but we won't touch it. So it's very instinctive, very instinctive, and very much in my blood, so to speak. And all of us who've grown up with South Asian mothers, you know, and around others, my sisters, my friends, and everybody. That part wasn't hard at all. It was very instinctive, and the only thing was then how to make Muniba different from the other 14 or 13, because you don't want to just, and I didn't want to stereotype her as just this person in the kitchen and cooking, and so then that was my job, was to layer her a little bit more, put in some humor, do that kind of thing. And
definitely. We see the humor right away. We see the layers right away. I'm so in awe of how you play her.
Thank you.
And I think it's so important and so brave of the show to talk about the partition in the way that you already have in the first episode. Not many of us have recorded the conversations with our parents or grandparents. We don't know enough about the partition from the first source. Right. So without giving spoilers away, can you speak a little bit more to Muniba's family's partition story and the importance that it will play in the rest of the series?
It will play.
Good.
That's not fair.
That's all you'll say.
It will play.
We don't know if it's going to play.
I had a feeling this was a tricky question.
Yeah.
No, I understand. No spoilers, of course. I totally get it. Is there a moment that you'd like to call out where you felt like, okay, this relationship that you've built with your family felt so real? Maybe a moment on set or scene?
I don't know if I can talk about
the episode 6 moment.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting struck with bad luck here.
We basically can't talk about anything.
We can't talk about it.
Sharmeen's 2 episodes, she's like, I have directed something, yes.
But I will say that just in creating the family dynamic, basically,
that's important.
It was very organic. It just sort of came. Nobody really talked about it. I don't think the 4 of us really had some big conversation about it. And I think Mohan, who plays Yusuf, was very gracious in I just led it with Muniba became more of the alpha, he became more of the beta.
Right.
And then Sagar and Iman and Iman was in and out a lot, of course, because she has scenes with everybody. I think it just came together. Nobody talked about it because, like Sagar said, we have such a baseline understanding of each other, you know. Mohan and I grew up across a bridge in South Bombay, not knowing each other, same age, went to school across from each other. So like we really get each other.
Right.
And then these 2 have been raised here. So I think it sort of art imitated life really well, and it just sort of came together without too much conversation.
Yeah, and you could see that. It's oozing on screen. I feel like you guys are the Pakistani family I would have loved to have dinner at. So, Sana, before I dive into your question, I wanted to share that we had the chance at Brown Girl to cover the announcement that Ms. Marvel was coming to Disney in October 2019. And if you don't mind, I want to quickly read what the contributor had said at the time. Afra Shameen is her name. As another South Asian Muslim girl growing up in the United States post 9/11, I saw myself in Kamala in ways completely absent from most modern media. She wants to be proud of her history and her culture, but she's just a teenager trying to navigate a growingly complicated world, a sentiment most kids like us can understand. So I think those few sentences right then and there sum up why creating Kamala Khan is so important to every person in this room today. Can you please speak to us a little bit about the behind the scenes moment of creating such a character? What are some of the pushbacks that you received? And was there a moment in which you believed she wouldn't exist?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've worked on Marvel for 12 years.
Yeah.
I started out as a comic book editor, and I've worked on almost everything. And it was a conversation talking about my childhood with my old boss, Stephen Wacker, and going to prom by myself because my mom said I couldn't date a boy.
Right.
And my mom's in the audience, so I will call her out for that. Thanks a lot, Mom.
She's waving proudly. She doesn't care.
I'm sorry, she waits for her moment every time, so I have to do that. You can see her backstage. She'll talk to you. She'll talk to you. Anyway, but talking a lot about our childhood experiences, my childhood experiences raised by, these really strong, powerful, like my mother and my father immigrated here, and they accomplished so much and they had their own challenges, but they didn't understand me. And so talking about those experiences and wearing, fasting during Ramadan and playing lacrosse and running track, it was hard, and navigating all of that was challenging for me. And so it kind of came out of that conversation of like, why not have a character for the young Sanas of the world? I did not think it was going to exist. I certainly did not think that we would be at the Paley Center. We'd be having screens across the country. Iman Vellani and Zenobia Shroff are playing these characters that were just kind of in our heads. G. Willow Wilson, who's the writer of the series, really understood her being a Muslim American convert, me being a Pakistani kid from Jersey, created sort of this confluence of experiences that led to it. But yeah, we thought we would get to issue 9 and then be like, all right, I'll go work on Daredevil now or something else. And we just can't let go of Kamala. She's really, really special. This family is very, very special.
It certainly is.
We have Ironheart out, Riri Williams, we have America Chavez, Squirrel Girl, like so many cool, Moon Girl, so many cool characters that I don't think would have existed if Kamala didn't have the success that she did. So it's been an amazing evolution, and now seeing sort of this next chapter in live action with MCU, it kind of is like so cool to go through like Endgame. You guys have watched Endgame, and like I'm assuming you're here. I see some Marvels, yes, it's familiar. But going from that and then cutting to like this young girl looking at the world and the experiences of Endgame, and now it's her turn to tell her story. It just felt very meta and very right. And it felt like the right time to introduce Kamala to the world, and I'm just like so grateful Kevin Feige was like, yeah, this feels like a good idea. And you guys like it, right?
All your dreams and hard work, right there. It was all worth it.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's possible to sum up any wisdom to those aspiring to have a career similar to yours.
Well, Iman, basically follow me around, because that's what Iman did. Iman would pull up her chair next to me at Video Village and just be like, so I have thoughts on this. And then pull out her crazy notebook of ideas or whatever. But work on your craft. She's been working on her craft for so long. I mean, obviously Zenobia is like a pro, has been in the industry for so long. Sharmeen, I don't need to say much about. She's a freaking genius. But work on your craft, just know, but you just have to keep getting better at it and have like a vision for what you want your life to be. And I will say one thing, I wanted to say this yesterday, but my father passed away right at the beginning of production. Like we were in prep, I was in a meeting, a costume designer meeting, And I get the call, and it was very emotional. This entire show is very emotional for me for many reasons. And I think a lot about what what does a comic book editor do? No one knows, like no one understands it. But he was always so supportive, and he was like, you know, whatever you do, no matter what career you want to do, obviously you should love it, but ultimately try to do something that will help people.
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot, and I hope that this show, I really hope it's going to help people. I know it's silly and it's quirky, but I hope it's going to make people feel a bit more brought in and a bit more included and inspired, hopefully, to do the things that they're passionate about as well. So, you know, this is for our dads, for our parents.
This is for our parents.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking why this moment is extra special.
My mother passed away while we were doing this. Out of the, wah, Debbie down to Herman. We're just bringing this audience down. But Yasana's father passed a little before, and then out of the 6 months that we were in Atlanta, my mother was dying for 4 of those months, nearly 5. So it was a very, very strange, I found myself in a very strange headspace. Because here is Muniba Khan, she's strong, my mother's half an ocean away, she is going to die. And a lot of the scenes, you know, I'm protecting Iman's character so much, I couldn't protect my own mom. And she was dying, it was very meta, this whole mother thing, and a lot of mother thing. And when your parent, for those of you who have lost one, dies, you start thinking about your relationship, right, with them. So all those months was like, we were in COVID, so I was alone, isolated, in my apartment, mother dying, thinking about her, thinking about our relationship. She was too weak to come on the phone. And then you go to work and you're doing more mother-daughter stuff. So the whole thing was at a meta level, mother, but these ladies were like, you know, they were just really supportive. And so I'm carrying her bag today, and this is for her.
Exactly, and you're doing her so proud. Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you. Sharmeen, I am so excited to meet you finally, because we had a chance to interview you in 2016 for one of your new films then, Songs of Lahore. We quoted you saying, I make films that I hope will cause some sort of change and spark a conversation. This is what I've always aspired to do, and that does not change. It is what I will always continue to do. And I know that you continue to live in that sentiment today, so is it possible to share one thing or maybe a few things that you believe Kamala's character will do to finally and formally change how we see Pakistani Muslim and how Pakistani Muslim women see themselves?
First of all, look around this room and see how many young women are dressed up as Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And see all these women who have created and sort of nurtured and made these characters come alive so that people can connect to them, so that they can see a reflection of themselves, so that they can see themselves arguing with their mother about curfews, and so that they can sort of, be listening to the music and embracing the culture. What we are doing is monumental. It is telling the story of one family, but in telling that story, we are making our culture, our lives, opening it up to the world so that as we celebrate ourselves, they too can celebrate us.
Yeah. I just want to take that as a recording and just run it later when I need inspiration. So thank you for that. When you're on a set like Miss Marvel, can you talk to us a little bit about just bringing your own South Asian identity and heritage and culture to set? What does that feel like, and how much input do you have when it comes to the South Asian nuances?
Well, I fed people on set a lot.
There you go. You're done.
What was wonderful was that we all wanted to make a show that people would fall in love with. And we each brought with us something. Sana and I talked a lot about the music and how we wanted that to be played. Iman and I talked a lot about Pakistan and how she needs to go to Pakistan. And sort of, and Zenobia and I, I think we just connected over the fact that we would bring something to the show that would resonate with people, and I think that was the end goal for all of us to do. And I think that as you go on this adventure, which we can tell you nothing about, you will laugh and you will feel a connection. Even if you don't come from that part of the world, you will feel a connection to this family, you will feel a connection to this story, and you will root for this family. And that's, at the end of it all, that's what we wanted to happen. We want you to root for Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
She's being very humble because Sharmeen, we have incredible directors and everyone has contributed amazing things to the show, but having Sharmeen was very special for me because she introduced being such Pakistani pride, being like just a very modern, cool, like intelligent, like woman who is Pakistani. She brought so much of that to the table, and that authenticity and that knowledge that has really enriched our story. And you'll see in our episodes, they're so beautiful. I can say they're quite beautiful, and they bring sort of our world in such a beautiful light, and it's really thanks to
She made me see Pakistan in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Like, I was born there, but we moved to Canada when I was 1, and we had so many conversations. She made everyone try pan, which is good God, if you don't know what that is, have some.
Not everyone would agree with you. It's a very controversial thing, Pan, by the way.
Definitely controversial.
It's very controversial.
I mean, this is what it feels like to be on a Brown set. So I literally feel like I'm on one right now, and it's wild.
Video Village women. If you guys know what Video Village is, it's like basically where you sit with the monitors. Predominantly were women and brown women.
Yeah.
So that's like, that in itself is monumental.
That is so.
And in a marble production.
Yeah, and women who made decisions.
Yeah.
Women who had the ability to make decisions.
Power to
and the power to do so. And it is incredible because we took many photographs and we would look around and we'd be like, wow, there is no man here. It's just us.
There were men, but we were telling them all what to do.
Yes.
Pretty great.
That is very true.
We loved it.
It feels good to be brown.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Starting from how we all started in Canada and America, yes, it feels very good to be brown. So I'm certainly in awe of all of you, and so thank you for taking the time here today to answer a few of my questions. I am truly grateful that we had a chance to capture this moment together. Let's take one question. I don't know if that's possible, but you did ask first.
I was wondering, what was your favorite piece of prop that you took from Avengers Con?
That's a good question.
Props.
I was going to throw you under the bus.
I threw myself. I take pride in how much stuff I stole. Like on the first day of AvengerCon, I went around and took photos of every single thing I wanted to take. And then on the last day, I was saying bye to people, and my sister was shoving things in bags, and we shipped everything home. And now my closet back home is a mini AvengerCon. I have like posters of a lot of posters, a lot of T-shirts. I have now a whole section of my closet that's just Marvel shirts. Half of them are mine, half of them are stolen. I got some free Funkos. Dude, I'm living. Yeah.
Can I just say that my 93-year-old grandfather is here today?
Woo!
Hi, Uncle.
Assalamualaikum, Uncle. Assalamualaikum.
We could take two more questions.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is for Iman. Oh, hello, Iman. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
You were fantastic. Everyone else was fantastic. So my question is, now that you're part of this larger Marvel universe, is there any actresses that you look forward to working with?
We can answer that for her.
Actually, okay, they're gonna say Robert Downey Jr. However, I think my brain would stop working, and then I'd never be able to work again. So I might as well just keep it a fantasy. So yeah. But I would like to meet everyone else. I have a checklist on my phone. I'm getting through it, so yeah.
I know he raised his hand earlier.
Look at the little one.
Oh.
The little one.
The little one.
The little one. Oh, give it to the little one. So sweet.
I have a question for Iman. What was your favorite part of like recording it or like filming it?
Working with these guys, I felt, well, like, seriously, I felt quite disconnected and dismissive of my culture, and I didn't think it was something that could make me cool ever, and for me, Hollywood and American pop culture were like the greatest thing ever, so being brown and that never went hand in hand, and now I'm working in Hollywood with, like, yeah, the fact that my first project is with this many women, this many people of color, this many cool Muslim people, like, and they're so connected with their culture and in touch with their roots, and that really made me kind of go back. Also, all the Avengers references, that's pretty cool. So.
Can I ask all of you, what was your favorite episode? No spoilers, I just want to know, like, what is
No, you can't ask that, because the director of 4 and 5 is sitting here. Sorry. I'm teasing you. Go ahead, Iman. What is your favorite episode?
Episode 4 or 5 are our favorite episodes.
No, of course not. Answer.
I'll answer. Episode 1.
Yeah.
All right, well, with that, we are wrapped up. I know that we could sit here for a very long time. We could have chai and samosa, and I wish we could, but we're going to have to let you guys go. So thank you again for being here tonight. And